Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
The people here in California know their beer. In fact, beer is a big part of their Oktoberfest. Schlitz, please. And for our master brewer, the final test is a beer drinker's taste.
I think Schlitz tastes a little better than Bud.
It's nice and mellow. I like it.
I'm impressed. This Schlitz really tastes good.
Mr. Sellinger, I'll go with your Schlitz.
I knew you would.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
Hey, over here! Hey! Yeah. Just come around here. Yeah.
Hiya, Phil. Looks like we got here just in time.
I'm glad to see you.
Hop on in here.
Okay.
Oh, hey, wait a minute. We don't have room for your TV.
Guess I'll just have to wait for the next boat.
There's only one television that people are absolutely crazy about. Trinitron from Sony, the one and only.
Doug English, who has a Great Dane, someone said weighed 250 pounds, named Spike. I said, if it's 250, who has the weight advantage in your household? He said, I got him trained down to 175. I'm the boss. He's quite a guy. Doug English, All-American at Texas. Jeff Gossett, who played some minor league third base in the New York Mets system, kicking to Robbie Martin, the rookie from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
Ooh, a low line driver. That's a return ball, Dick.
Martin. In a sea of Kansas City uniforms, Charles Jackson, the first wave, number 51. A 42-yard punt minus return. Timeout. 1:47 left in the half.
For his enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mr. Bob Lilly.
It was the greatest day of my life, the ultimate honor. After a career of 14 years as a Dallas Cowboy, being enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But there was one person who wasn't there to share that moment, and that was my dad. From the time I was 5 years old, he worked with me. His dream for me was that someday I'd play in the NFL. He couldn't run because he was partially crippled, but he passed the ball to me. He worked with me every day. Over the years, he was my coach and my greatest fan. He never missed a game until he passed away in 1971. That was the year the Cowboys made it to the Super Bowl for the first time. When you visit the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you'll see number 74, Mr. Cowboy, Bob Lilly. Behind every number, there's a story and a dream that came true. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it.
Preceding announcement furnished as a public service by the National Football League, and our thanks to the folks here at the Silverdome. We're understandably excited about hosting the Super Bowl in January, and we want to congratulate our colleague Brian Gumbel, officially announced now as a new co-host of NBC's Today Show. A brilliant choice by the network, and the best to Brian. First down, Lions. They lead 17-7. Time for Hipple. Look at him move. Out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Eric Hipple.
A quarterback with mobility really has an advantage in a game like this. Watch what Hipple does with a broken play. That's a normal sack for most quarterbacks. He not only gets the yardage to the line of scrimmage, but outruns Cal Peterson, number 50, and legs it for the first down, and then smartly ducks out of bounds. He's a veteran already.
1 minute and 38 seconds left. First half. The Lions lead 17-7. Ball at the 36. Tackled by Gary Green. Green, a number 1 draft pick out of Baylor. That's another Lion first down. Lions now will call timeout. And here's another part of the communication process. As Hipple will come to the sidelines, he has 2 timeouts left. And now, rather than the signals being sent in or signaled in, he can talk directly to his head man, Monty Clark.
And also to Bob Snelker. That's Snelker that he's talking to right now. And Monty Clark did an interesting thing when he came here and put his staff together. Knew that he was a little weak on the offensive side. Brought in Bob Snelker, who certainly had a wealth of experience as an offensive coach, receiver coach early in his career. They'll be taking information, of course, still from the coaches upstairs, but mostly Snelker is the guy that will make the decisions. You see him right there, head-to-head with Hippel on the sideline. We told you earlier that when they lost communication and Snelker couldn't communicate, he had to get down to that sideline because Monty didn't want that whole responsibility of calling the offense by himself, and understandably so. His experience, although very strong on offense, does not include as much of the passing game as I think he would like to have there.
That really is, in essence, a war game. You've got the general headquarters, and you're sending the messages out to the foxholes and execute the plan and then carry it back. How's it going, and what can we do to be better?
Well, and it's a collective thing. You draw from the strengths of all your coaches.
Not this time, as Dino Mangieri has the first sack for Kansas City. Mangiero is a big New York Yankee fan, makes his home in Staten Island, New York, and Eric Hipple sacked for the first time today. It's surprising that Kansas City, that's only their 18th sack all year.
That's certainly a number that does not please Marv Levy or the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. But Hipple right there paying the price for taking a little too much time, and I think would have been well advised either to unload that or to make the decision to run with it a little bit earlier in the game. Sacks aren't always the final measure, though, of the pressure on a quarterback. Very often, a sack is not as effective as a pressure because a pressure can often result in a turnover. You can get the interception from the badly thrown pass.
1 minute, 15 seconds left in the first half. The Lions now have but one timeout remaining. Leading Kansas City 17-7. In case you're joining us late on this Thanksgiving holiday, here's how the game has developed. The Lions scored on their first possession. 73 yards in 6 plays, a Hipple to Hill touchdown pass, and Billy Jackson capped a 69-yard drive in Kansas City's first possession to tie it at 7-7. A field goal by Murray and a Hipple to Scott touchdown in the second quarter. That's Mark Nichols, the #1 draft pick from San Jose State, and a first down at the 40. The clock running, 58, 57, 56. Incomplete, and a flag is down. This game has been relatively penalty-free.
Like we talked about communication, in that previous huddle, Hipple had called 2 plays. He simply went to the line of scrimmage and got that second play off before Kansas City was ready. Penalty, it would appear, would go against Kansas City.
They gave illegal use of the hands against the Chiefs. Usually see that one on the other side. The offensive lineman guilty of the hold. That's a big one. 10 yards down to the 30-yard line.
Illegal use of the hands in the face, number 61. First down.
Probably one of the defensive linemen on the rush getting a push. It would appear that, well, we'd hate to say it was Parrish, but he's the one that it was on him. And he comes out of the game.
Seconds to go. Ooh. Scott reaching forward knowing that Barbaro was coming up quickly. And as most receivers, if they want to be honest, will tell you, you do hear footsteps. They're all around you.
No question. He reached all the way out. No chance for that one, although he got his fingers on it. I think an interesting thing about this game, it's a short week of preparation playing on a Thursday. The advantage, certainly, I would feel, passing to the home team. They don't have to travel. We asked Marv Levy if he felt that that was a disadvantage to his team. He said, no, in a way, I kind of like it. We needed a break. We practiced light, without pads, and I think my guys are ready to play. They haven't played quite as well as Detroit here in the early going.
A draw play, and it didn't fool the Chiefs as Horace King has wrapped up by Mangiero, and still. Clock at 34 seconds as Hippel exercises his final timeout in this first half.
Still plenty of time to get down there further, but he's well within Eddie Murray's range. Murray tremendously strong. In fact, a rather amazing stat is his ability to kick the ball outside the 50. He's 3 for 5 outside of the 50 in this season. Now, I don't think there's another kicker in the league that could boast that kind of average.
He does have the advantage of working half the games indoors where the wind isn't going to knock those long kicks around.
There's no question that this is a kicker's stadium. Although in talking to Eddie Murray yesterday about the closeness of the crowd, especially at the stadium end to our left where the crowd is right in behind the goalpost, he said that tends to make those goalposts look smaller. And he said, I think a kicker coming into this stadium for the first time would feel that those goalposts aren't the legitimate width.
Eric Hippel on the sidelines with that beard, and coming from Utah State, your alma mater, he looks like he could be a stand-in on Father Murphy for you.
They certainly might. Well, is he big enough? I will have to put a little weight on him. He married a girl from Logan, too, which is my hometown. Good choice again.
We are intentionally throughout the course of this telecast trying to give the schools of the athletes who are playing and thereby really saying happy Thanksgiving to all the people across this marvelous country of ours. 3rd and 10 on a blitz. And that was a very alert play by Horace King. A veteran play. Had he tried to go upfield for a first down, would have been tackled inbounds and the clock would have run. King, even though he didn't make the first down, stopped the clock and allows Murray to come in that tries the field goal.
They like to use King in a passing situation because he is such a fine receiver, but you're absolutely right about what he did there. One of the things you try to do defensively when you want to take some time off that clock is to get those receivers in bounds and hold them down. Detroit not taking any chances. They'll go for the field goal with quite a bit of time on the clock.
41-yard attempt. Oh, no good. He duck hooked it to the left. So Murray misses from 41 yards, only his 8th miss of this year. He's 21 for 29.
When you see him rush out to kick a ball, you have to think about the kick he made against Dallas here a couple of weeks ago. I was talking about the clock there. Obviously, they had to kick because it was 4th down. They're looking at the clock and watching them work it down. Kansas City now with 25 seconds. We'll get a little insight into Marv Levy's philosophy. With his conservative coaching background, I would have a feeling that maybe they would just grind this thing to a stop.
Nope, Kenny's going to throw. And Delaney tried to run before he had the ball.
That is a conservative call, even though it's a pass. It's not the kind of pass that could be intercepted. The idea to get the ball into the hands of your touchdown threat, certainly there's no question on that Kansas City sideline who the man is they wanted to have it. They tossed it out. Delaney tried to run a little too soon.
I know many fans here in the Detroit area and around the country as you think about the Thanksgiving Day game, and really it's become an American dinosaur. This used to be the day when you had the city rivalries, the state rivalries in college, and you played that final game of the year before the snows hit. Not too many games played on Thanksgiving anymore, but this becomes the traditional. And Delaney is all the way to the 42-yard line. And he just ran by blue uniforms, and the clock stopped with 12 seconds remaining.
Now with 12 seconds remaining and with position out beyond the 40, Marv Levy's philosophy may change a little bit. We may see the ball in the air now.
Merlin Delaney now with 63 yards rushing in the first half. And Billy Sims, who has been bothered by the sore toe, has a total of 39.
Well, again, we had indicated that the word in describing Delaney was quickness, and I swear it looks like they've slowed down all the blue uniforms to let Delaney run at full speed. But he is a beautiful athlete to watch in motion.
When you going back to the tradition of this Thanksgiving Day game for Detroit, it started in 1934, and this is the 42nd edition. And I guess the one that everyone remembers most clearly was, and it made this game really famous, 19 '62 when Green Bay played the Lions at Briggs Stadium. That was the game where Bart Starr and the Packers were in the midst of that Vince Lombardi dynasty, and Alex Karrath and Darris McCord and Williams and Schmidt and Roger Brown, your former teammate, made all those sacks, and the Lions upset Green Bay in what was a spectacular game, and it then became almost a regular on the calendar for football fans around the country. 12 seconds left. Intercepted. Jimmy Allen to the 34-yard line, and that's the end of the first half. Jimmy Allen, who leads the Lions in interceptions with his 8th of the year, and he was trying to go all the way.
Well, that's exactly why Marv Levy didn't go deep earlier. He almost got in trouble by taking the shot here. Had the clock not run out, they might have been close to field goal position. But you see it here, just overthrown. The ball sailing over the top of Rome's head. Alertly picked off by Jimmy Allen. He said, they call me the Spider-Man. The reason they do, he said, I snatched that ball out of the air like a fly. Well, he certainly did it there, and then did some great running to get himself down well into Kansas City territory.
And on this Thanksgiving holiday from the Silverdome in Pontiac, that's the end of the first half. The Detroit Lions 17, the Kansas City Chiefs 7.
Recently, we've been asking those of you who don't watch News 4 to switch from the news you're watching and give us a try.
If you haven't tried News 4 lately, you don't know what you're missing.
There are lots of reasons to switch to News 4.
Try us tonight and see how it feels to break the habit.
The people of Michigan, they haven't forgotten how to smile. And we're proud to be part of that smile. We're Delta Dental Plan, Michigan's largest group dental plan. But we didn't become the leader on size alone. Delta has always led the way in relating to people's needs. That's why our group plans are as individual as the people we serve. That's why these people are smiling all over Michigan. Delta, we're #1 for a number of good reasons.
Heard the good news? $1 could win you $5,000. It's Daily 4, another daily lottery game with a bigger payoff. It's fun and easy to play. You pick your own 4-digit number, the agent punches out a ticket like this, and if it matches the winning 4-digit number, you win. A new winning number is drawn every night. Got a hunch on a 4-digit number? Play Daily 4. $1 could win you $5,000, and you'd really be in the chips.
Guess what these figures are? They're trade-ins, believe it or not, that people in the metro area are getting on new Buicks. $5,100 on a 3-year-old Cutlass, $5,300 on a 3-year-old Regal. Tomorrow, you too may get up to 75% of what you paid for your car new in trade on any new Buick you choose. Your Metro Buick dealers are dedicating 1 week into giving you more for your trade-in. But due to the limited space on our used car lots, we can only make this offer for 1 week. See if you too can get around $5,000 for your trade-in tomorrow at your Metro Buick dealer.
The original Miracle on 34th Street, tonight at 8.
Of you, our Thanksgiving Day special has the Lions out in front of the Chiefs after one half by a score of 17-7 after scoring on their first possession and then getting another touchdown late in the second period, adding to that an Eddie Murray field goal. The Chiefs with a lone 7 coming on their second possession of the game. We've got a busy halftime ahead. We're going to have a special little bit on halftime entertainment from Saturday Night Live's Joe Piscopo. We've also got a message from President Ronald Reagan, and we'll look at his sports career, in fact, in the film. But first, more on today's ball game. For that, let's go back up to Dick and Merlin.
All right, Bryant and Merlin Olsen, we talked about the running games, the 2 top running offenses in the National Football League, the 2 stars, Delaney and Sims, but that really wasn't the highlight of this first half.
No, it wasn't, Dick, and we also mentioned that these 2 teams were great against the run, number 2 and number 3 in the NFL against the running game. It's really been the passing of Hipple. Kenny has not been that effective. He's been intercepted twice. Only 2 of his passes have hit the ground. He's had a pretty good day in getting it to the other guys on the other side of the line, unfortunately. But Hipple has had a good day passing, especially so with that long strike to Freddie Scott. I think it's the passing of Hipple that's been the difference in the game.
Scott, who did an excellent job, Hipple throwing deep. It appeared Gary Green was in position to make the play defensively. Number 24, Scott, with better timing, was up at the right time and pulled down 6 points on a 40-yard play.
Well, we can look for more of that in the second half, and certainly the two running backs didn't disappoint us in the first half. We'll see some good running then, too.
We're at halftime at the Silverdome in Pontiac. Detroit Lions 17, Kansas City Chiefs 7. We'll be back with more after these words from your local station.
Tonight, Arnold's caught stealing and eats all the justice he can get.
Right on, brother.
Different strokes. Then when Mel and the Chief go on a diet, it's high-calorie comedy on Give Me a Break. And it's the Emmy-winning Hill Street Blues, #1 with the...
News 4.
Try us tonight and see how it feels to break the habit.
Heard the good news? $1 could win you $5,000. It's Daily 4. Another daily lottery game with a bigger payoff. It's fun and easy to play. You pick your own 4-digit number. The agent punches out a ticket like this. And if it matches the winning 4-digit number, you win. A new winning number is drawn every night. Got a hunch on a 4-digit number? Play Daily 4. $1 could win you $5,000. And you'd really be in the chips.
Guess what these figures are? They're trade-ins, believe it or not, that people in the metro area are getting on new Buicks. $5,100 on a 3-year-old Cutlass, $5,300 on a 3-year-old Regal. Tomorrow, you too may get up to 75% of what you paid for your car new in trade on any new Buick you choose. Your Metro Buick dealers are dedicating 1 week into giving you more for your trade-in. But due to the limited space on our used car lots, we can only make this offer for 1 week. See if you too can get around $5,000 for your trade-in tomorrow at your Metro Buick dealer.
On this Thanksgiving Day, we are back at the Pontiac Silverdome. Our score at halftime, the Lions out in front of the Chiefs, 17-7. And as is the case with every day of the NFL season, the bands have taken over the field at halftime while the teams are in the locker room. And that gives us cause to pause, because our assignment at halftime is always to bring you scores and highlights. But what of the bands, some people have been asking? Well, for a special report on that, we've got a very special friend.
Thanks, Bry. Hello again, everybody. Joe Piscopo, NFL 81. Halftime, Chiefs, Lions, Thanksgiving. But the big story, marching bands. Why don't they show halftime activities anymore? We're missing some incredible action. Watch. Precision dancing. Butt bumping. Get down. Awesome tubas. Whoops. Incredible stunts. Incredible jerks. Is nothing sacred? Come on, Santa. Halftime tributes to pineapples. Siamese cheerleaders. Halftimes are good, clean, family, fun, yes. Let's see more of them. Joe Piscopo, NFL 81. Back to you, Bry.
All right, thank you, Joe. And now you know why we are here at halftime. It's halftime today at 17-7, and you know, actually, we've been talking about the personal duels so much that really, if you don't believe me, you can look at the standings. This is a game that has playoff implications. But are these really playoff teams in the classic sense?
Well, you're bringing up the point that a lot of people have been saying parity is the curse of the betting class, the curse of anybody trying to figure this game out. But frankly, I love it. These are teams, they have limitations, they know it, but they have to play that much harder to try and overcome them. I think it's kind of fun.
And for a guy in your position, it's terrific.
Well, let's say it makes every game a fascinating challenge.
All right, let me take a look at the numbers here. Delaney, 8 for 63, Sims, 10 for 39, and a case of turf toe.
Yes, well, that's another of the humbling things about trying to be a handicapper, is to think that your whole season could be hanging on one guy's big toe.
One of the reasons you decided to go with the Lions today is because of their home record. They're 6-0 inside of this building. Out on the road, they are merely mortal. They are 1-5. Any reasons you suspect for it?
Well, you know, this is my first game here in the Dome, and it's unique. The noise is incredible because other domes that have been built all-purpose round domes. This is one built for football with the fans much closer to the action. The wall of noise is incredible. And so it's not just a handicapper's factor of a home advantage. This really is. There's no place like this home.
Okay, but the handicapper isn't home free just yet. You've got a second half to go, and it remains 17-7. Okay, thank you, Ax. One of the other things we're going to be bringing you at halftime, as noted a bit earlier, was we are going to have a very special Thanksgiving Day message from President Ronald Reagan. But before we turn our attention to that, maybe we can take a couple of moments here to review his sports history in fact and film. It would be nice to say that Ronald Reagan captained his Dixon High School football team and was its star. Nice, but not true. In truth, he was an offensive guard, an undersized guard at that. Later at Eureka College, he lettered in football and swimming, sports he turned to because he was too nearsighted to play baseball. Still, he got involved with baseball in the early 30s by recreating Chicago Cubs games on WHO radio in Des Moines, Iowa. By the late 30s, he had gone from the press box to the playing field as a star who broke training at VMI in the movie Brother Rat.
2 fourth-classmen were reported absent from the room at midnight inspection last night. One of them was apparently in Mr. Randolph's cot. What about the other? Gentlemen, are these new cadets to be punished, or are the truly guilty parties willing to take the penalty?
Colonel Ram, one of them was in my bed. The other one was in mine, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. You both report to your room under arrest.
But, sir, the game.
I'm sorry, but that can't be considered a question of discipline. You should have remembered the game last night, Mr. Crawford. I explained the whole situation to the coach.
Yes, sir.
2 years after Brother Rat, Ronald Reagan exchanged the diamond for a gridiron and went from VMI to Notre Dame as the legendary George Gipp in the movie Newt Rockne All-American. He was the famed Gipper Pat O'Brien asked the team to win one for. He was fast, elusive, tough, consistent. In the movie, the classic All-American, on and off the field.
There'll never be but one Rockne, here at Notre Dame or anywhere else. He's given us something they don't teach in schools. Something clean and strong inside. Not just courage, but a right way of living that none of us will ever forget.
By 1952, Ronald Reagan had put George Gipp and Newt Rockne long behind him. He was, in fact, back to talking baseball, albeit with different intent, to Rhonda Fleming in the movie Hong Kong.
How do you know?
Because I'm in charge of this party.
Oh. Looks like I'm playing right field on this club. That's a baseball expression.
Yes, I know. I used to pitch for the mission team.
Bet you got a pretty good curve at that.
The pitch Reagan made to Rhonda Fleming was nothing compared to those he threw at opponents in a film entitled The Winning Team. As Hall of Fame pitcher Grover Cleveland Alexander, he fired almost nothing but strikes and proved to be a memorable and popular favorite with his public.
For Chicago, Alexander pitching.
You've given them something to remember, Alex.
Ronald Reagan, the actor, as a sportsman in fact and film. But of course now, as the President of the United States, he has turned his attention to more serious matters. And on that note, we welcome this Thanksgiving note from the President.
I hope you're all enjoying today's game. From football to turkey, Thanksgiving Day really is a chance to be with friends and family and enjoy the good times together. But I'm sure that sometime today, the thoughts of all of us will turn to the real meaning of this, our first national holiday. And I'm sure that in our hearts, we'll all feel a deep gratitude for this much-loved country of ours and the blessings that have been conferred on those of us who call ourselves Americans. You know, the meaning of the American experience is that freedom only prospers where the blessings of God are openly acknowledged and avidly pursued. This is also the beginning of political wisdom. It's what Thomas Jefferson had in mind when he said that the God who gave us life gave us liberty at the same time. It's what George Washington, our first president, meant when he said, of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. And a famous French observer of America who came to these shores and put it simply about our strength as a nation, America is great because America is good. You know, I've always believed that in the simple prayers of good people, there's more wisdom than in all the carefully laid plans of great leaders, and more power than in all the mighty armies of the world. So today, I wonder if I might ask each of you, either alone or even better, when you're together today, to say a prayer of gratitude to the Lord for watching over our country all these years, and ask Him, too, to guide us through these perilous but exciting times ahead. Thank you, and from Nancy and myself and all of us in the administration, happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.
This 1981 National Football League game is brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this one's for you. By the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Radio Shack, a division of Candy Corporation. And by the twin-action Norelco Rototrack razor. We've got one half of football down on this Thanksgiving Day at the Silverdome, and at the half, the Lions are out in front of the Chiefs by a score of 17-7. Looked like it would be a wide-open affair in the early going because the Lions took the ball and marched right down the field, aided by a pass interference penalty. Eric Hipple completed this pass to Freddie Scott to get close, a 19-yarder. And then after getting close, he completed a 10-yard strike to David Hill. Hipple, in the first half, 8 for 16, 119 yards. Lions moved in front 7-0. Joe Delaney went over the 1,000-yard mark with this run. On the first half, he was 8 for 63. But it was Billy Jackson that scored the tying touchdown, deadlocking the ball game at 7 in the second period. Eddie Murray's 35-yard field goal made it a 10-7 ball game. And then the Lions couldn't capitalize on J.T. Smith's fumble. It was indicative of the way the first half was being played. Both teams coming up with the turnovers. Still, Eric Hipple to Freddie Scott made it 17-7 ball game, and that is the way it's remained to this point because Eddie Murray has missed on a 41-yard attempt. So right now it stands at 17-7. We've got a second half to come to the Silverdome. We'll get to it on Thanksgiving Day right after this commercial break.
This bud's for everybody who races the weather to bring in the harvest. This bud's for all you do. The king of beers is coming through. Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do. This bud's for you.
The new generation of Dodge Rams made an ex-Ford owner out of me, and now Dodge has come up with this new Ram Miser. Beautiful inside and out. And Ram Miser gives Dodge the biggest increase in gasoline mileage of all full-size pickups. Hard to believe it's America's lowest priced pickup, equipped, not stripped.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
Get $300 to $1,000 cash on select new Dodge cars and trucks. See participating dealers for complete details.
I can cook better than Henri with one hand tied behind my back.
Okay, Reggie, one hand.
Ah! I have the Panasonic Genius. He has an ordinary microwave oven. The Panasonic Genius is auto-sensor, defrosts, cooks, and warms automatically. Henri has to defrost, then use a probe. Sacre bleu. I don't. Henri must turn the food. The Genius does that. Voila!
Voila!
Beaten
by a ball player.
And the Panasonic Genius.